What's up, viewers? Welcome back to Perception Inception. Today I want to, like this is some class, but this video I want to more so elaborate on the idea I brought up in the last one, hence the title, grab control of your animal. I think most people have no freaking clue what the hell I'm talking about. And that's okay. It's okay, because I know most people know that humans are animals, but I want to make some videos until I feel like I've thoroughly covered the topic of it. I want to make enough videos that I feel like I've gotten my idea and my practices across. So, I mean, and it's basically about viewing yourself as an animal. Like your body is the animal, and then you have your mind, which helps you figure things out in the physical world, and then you have your spirit, which guides, like your morality and kind of like inspires you, I guess. That's how I kind of view these three different parts of human. In fact, hell, it might be every animal, every life form. Who knows? We don't really know. We think we know things, and then someone finds something, and then we're like, oh, everything we knew before is completely trashed. Because, how many times has it happened in history? So many times. You can't ignore it. Humans think we know, we think we know things, and then we realize we didn't know shit. So, why do we think we know things? Who knows? Nobody knows why we think we know everything and all there is to know. And, science. I read an article from an astrophysicist, I think it was. But he was saying, he's like, science is a continuous effort to try to understand the physical world, and any claims that this is proven or facts or whatever are, that just means that that person who's saying that convinced themselves that this is the reality or these are the facts, and in actuality it's not. Like that. Just because you've convinced yourself that that's the truth doesn't mean that that's the truth. It just means that you discovered something that's worth noting. It doesn't mean, it means you've discovered a pattern, and maybe you figured out how to manipulate it. Maybe you figured out how to make it happen again. But, there's always anomalies. There's always outliers. There's always something that you're not able to actually predict or to see. And and that goes with realizing that humans are more animals than we think. And I think when I realized it really was just like when I got married and had a kid, and it was fun, it was exciting. But, you're really kind of just doing, even myself, as much as I love my wife, I love her way more now because we've gone through some shit. But, back then, I was getting married because I love this woman, and, this is what you're supposed to do, right? You're supposed to get married, you're supposed to have kids, you're supposed to have a job that pays well so you can save for retirement. Which, retirement has been an idea since, it's not even 100 years. Retirement has been an idea. I don't know why I gave that quote, but retirement's just an idea, guys. Retirement is to sell to old people, to older folks, the idea of getting to relive childhood again, but as a more mature and more, I don't know, maybe like maybe you figured some shit out, so you know what kind of things you like, you know what things are a waste of time, maybe. But I've met like 85-year-olds who haven't figured out half the stuff I feel I figured out and about life and about the truth of reality and all this. I mean, you can have someone at the age of 15 figure this stuff out while everyone around them just seems lost, you know. But I think coming back to the animal aspect is we are constantly having to refigure out things we've already figured out, but we figure it out in a different way. So I think when we come across these apparitions, if I'm saying that right, we like have these ideas that spark a realization of reality, and when they keep happening, basically they compile in our minds and our memory. And I feel like when we have so many of them, and I mean, it's like your brain's looking for patterns. When these realizations keep happening, then your animal brain is like, okay, maybe we should stop and look at these things that keep happening to us. And I say us as in like mind, body, and spirit, or whatever. I'm not choosing a pronoun for myself. I think that I don't even know how pronouns people. None of that I'm interested in. If you are, cool. That's great. If that makes you feel happy, I guess. I think it's silliness, and yeah. I mean, just being picky about everything is silly to me, because we're animals. Animals will be animals. What do you do when your dog steals food off your plate? What do you do when your 2-year-old doesn't listen to you all the time? Do you just, what do? You tell yourself, oh, they're just 2 years old. Oh, they're just a dog. And you have to do that for yourself. You have to do that with other humans. Even if they're a grown-ass adult and in your mind, you think that they should have this figured out and they should not act this way. But reality is that they're just an animal. And a hardly conscious animal at that. Alright, I had to break to put my 2-year-old back to bed and put my hair up, because it's kind of hot in here, a little warm. So what I was saying was, because, like you get on a train of thought and then something happens and you get like pushed off of that train and you're like, man, I don't remember exactly what I was saying right before. I know I was talking about how like you gotta allow yourself to be an animal, or you gotta allow yourself forgiveness and other people forgiveness, because most humans, we're unconscious beings. Like it's hard to describe. We see ourselves as conscious beings, but how much of everything you do each day is actually like thought about and chosen right then. We trial and error. We figure out things that work for us, that we like, that we enjoy, things that don't make us feel all anxious, like we need to be on our toes all the time. I know some people do like that. There are thrill seekers, and those are those are probably back in the day, those would be the people who would go around and either hunt or look for new things, look for, they would do the dangerous things. So you kind of just evolve and adapt to doing the things that help you and your tribe survive. But you just gotta learn. We gotta learn that we are animals first and conscious beings second. And our go-to for our mind to action is the animal instincts. It's not, you can coordinate your mind, body, spirit, whatever. You can coordinate those things to act according to how you want, but at the end of it, all you're really doing is just retraining the animal brain to react differently, or you can train your animal brain to stop, and then you can allow your conscious part of your mind to actually think before you act on something. But that doesn't play into all aspects or situations, because you end up having, you have situations or whatever where your mind thinks that, or maybe you actually need to act really quick because someone's life is about to be at stake, or something like that. I mean, there's different situations where it's okay to let that animal instinct kick in and do what it needs to do in order for survival or to save someone else or whatever. But you have to give yourself that permission to be an animal. And I think our culture anymore doesn't allow us to be animals. It tells us that we need to be this like perfect specimen that is like, look around at politicians, the people who make the laws, the people who uphold the laws, the people who choose what kind of penalties we have for not abiding by these laws. Most of them are like the most corrupt people ever. I mean, that's not even going too far above the reality. Not all of them, of course. There's your good ones, people. There's always, like I said, there's always outliers. But the majority of politicians, people in power, people, tops execs of big companies that bring in billions and billions of dollars every year, they're corrupt people, because what they've gotten themselves into is just a different way of thinking. You think over top so much more things, so you think that you're up here because you're looking down on all these people controlling little aspects of a business or little aspects of the government or whatever, and it corrupts you. It definitely corrupts you, and that's extremely obvious in the past decade. Extremely obvious, but it's been going on since the dawn of man. Anytime you put someone in charge of a large group of people and you obtain lots of resources and power, money, yada yada, once you get to that point, corruption is inevitable. Always. It's always inevitable. Even in a small little cult gathering out in the woods or whatever, corruption might even be the dawn of that entire little community, or it might have evolved into being corrupt for the people at top. Maybe you get stuck in this little world, and I think every human in this easy way of life we get stuck in this little world because the way of a human life is supposed to be to survive. And when you remove our purpose is to survive and to replicate. That's literally our only purpose. I don't care what anyone thinks. We are animals. What is the purpose of any other animal's life? To survive and to reproduce. So why do people think we're above this? I don't know. I think it's like control aspects that trickle down into people's way of thinking. The church told people that there's God, and I do believe there is some kind of higher power, but I don't think it's something that's just focused in on Earth and humans especially. I think that's silly. Because when you realize that humans are almost entirely unconscious animals, habitual animals, like I said earlier, we get into these little grooves of things that work for us, and then we keep doing them. Why? Survival. That's why. Because we are wired to only do that, because we figure out how to survive, and then we just keep doing that. Well, in a world where survival isn't even an aspect of life, then you imagine and you create reasons to be alive. And for some of us, it's to do podcasts. For some of us, it's to be a grower of some fruit or food or whatever, or maybe livestock. And for some of us, it's to be a millionaire and enjoy our lives as much as possible, like a 3-year-old, you know. I do not envy people with more money than they know what to do with. And I'll give you one reason is it changes you. It changes the way you think about things, it changes the way you do things, and it changes you as an animal. It makes you think you're above other animals. And you're not. You're just another animal who, in today's world, figured out how to be wealthy and not have to worry about survival very much. And I mean, you can see that back to the Roman times. The Romans thought they were invincible. What happened to Romans now? They're all dead. I mean, they're not all dead, but I mean, like, the empire fell, and that has happened time after time in all these empires. The Egyptians, the Romans, the Persians, all these, they've all collapsed, they've all fell. And the reason is because they got to that peak point of humanity, of the capability of animals, and they thought they were above it. When you do that, you fall, because you stop worrying about reality and you only worry about the little, subset of reality that you've created. You're in this little channel, this canal of reality, while reality is all around you. And all you can see is just, what's in your field of vision. And I feel like most people don't climb up out of the damn ditch or whatever to see what's actually going on. And sometimes we climb up out of the ditch only to see that there's a rush of water coming into the ditch about to kill us all. And this is metaphorically, of course. But, I feel like once you climb up out of this subculture of reality, you start realizing different things. You see that survival and reproduction is the purpose of life. I mean, you can get all lovey-dovey with different aspects of what purpose of life is for you. If you need an emotional response in the purpose of life, you're a product of our culture. I mean, I hate to say it, and I hate to talk crap on you, but it's the reality of it. You're just a product of our culture, and I mean, I was a product of our culture too, and I still am to an extent, but I'm aware of it now. I'm aware of the fact that humans are animals, and that we live in a world that is created outside of the rest of reality. We are the outside world. For the most part, most human civilization is the outside world. We are outside of the animal world in a sense that survival for us is easy. We can just go to the grocery store and get food. We don't have to set traps or go hunting or none of that, And it made it to where we can not focus only on survival, but we can focus on technology, we can focus on whatever. But how's that working out for us? I really don't think it's working out a whole lot better than if we were all pretty much surviving in groups. I mean, yes, a lot more people can survive, and for a lot longer. I am not willing, or I'm not unwilling to admit that. I understand that technology has its ups, but it has way more downs, I think, than ups. We have a lot of advantage with technology, but we also have a lot of depression and people not even sure the purpose of their life. They're not even sure if life is worth living. All this. There's a lot of mental health issues recently. More so as we go into the future, it seems. You have a lot of people who they don't want to live in reality anymore. They want to live in their dreams. They want to live in their creations. And like that sucks. That sucks to me. I think that sucks because, man, you go out into the woods and you go explore, look at bugs, look at plants, and just look at them and be like, oh my. Like, when you look close at something and you take time and appreciate it, you realize, holy cow, this is almost magic in itself. Like, for instance, we have some frogs that made it in our, not in our pool, but we have a tarp over our pool for the winter. And it rained. Some leaves blew in there, so there's some algae. Frogs and toads got in there and they mated, and there were hundreds, if not thousands, of tadpoles. But just seeing, I mean, you saw frogs mating, so I knew what they were doing. They're on top of each other. That's how frogs mate. But you see that, and then, I mean, even having kids is just it's astoundingly magical, and it's awesome to see. I mean, you can explain it through science and you can explain it through all this other stuff, but if you stop looking at it as it's magical, or and I don't really mean magical, I just mean it's miracle type stuff, because to see something come from nothing, in my opinion, is damn near magic. Technology is magic to people 100 years ago. Cell phones would be unheard of, and if you showed it to someone, they would be like, oh my god, that's crazy, I don't even understand how it works. And you're the one who owns it, you're like, yeah, I don't even understand how it works, but I know that I can use this. Nature being miraculous, and watching these tiny little tadpoles get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then next thing I know, they have legs, and then they're jumping around on the pool deck, and it's this is cool. This is cool to see life happen right there, and I know a lot of people just skip the miraculous thinking and they go straight to, oh, this is a pest, this is annoying, this is gross, yada yada. And I don't know where exactly we lost it as a culture. I know not everyone, but I know a good majority of people, I think, have kind of lost that touch with nature, to where we see things as miraculous and enjoyable to see and to experience. I think that needs to come back. We need to figure out how to bring the miracle of nature back into the minds of humanity, because without realizing that nature itself and just the animal instinctual life is as miraculous as all this technology we've created and all this other crap we've created with our minds, that's all just as miraculous, but it's pointless. Most of it is pointless. I mean, that's like ants. I didn't really have anything lined up there, but I mean, that's like ants going and building a giant 10-foot hive and then not even live in it, not even use it once. That, I mean, to me, that is a good little similar thing. In nature, you don't see ants you don't see any animal or insect or life form build a home or a nest and then it just sits there unused. But you see that in humans. A good 50% of houses created by humans are unused, And how many homeless people do we have? Like, doesn't make any sense. It just seems ridiculous, and it seems selfish, and like, I'm not saying we should give out houses, but shit, why are we doing this? We're wasting resources for nothing. For what? For some fake money that isn't going to get us much anymore in the future. But yeah, like, I feel like we just need to figure out how to get humanity back in touch with the miraculousness of nature. I don't know what I was going to say. I was going to make up a word, but it didn't work out. Sometimes I can make up words and it works out and it sounds fine and people don't question it, but sometimes I just get caught in a tongue twister and I'm like, blah, 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 blah. But seriously, we need to figure out how to get humanity back in touch with nature, and to understand that the world that humans have been ignoring and pretending isn't there is more there than ever, and is closing in on us and begging for us to come back. That's what I think. That's my view on it. You form your own view. Don't take this literally. I mean, think about it though. Take everything anyone says with a grain of salt. You can't just take someone's ideals, run with it, and never look back, because then you might be running off a cliff and don't have a parachute. So, just kind of, I think we should all take into consideration what each other has as views, and, at some, like I said, you can, I keep doing this with my hand. You can build these ideas on top of each other, and you can find where the pattern repeats, and you can find where something is going to work. And you have a bunch of people with ideas, and then they keep stacking, and then you're like, okay, so there's a bunch of ideas that kind of intertwine with each other. Maybe we should look at some of these. We all need to recognize that we all have some good insight. Even if it was brought on by DMT, none of this was. This is all my own thinking. Like, you gotta take into consideration people's insights and people's suggestions of what's wrong. And then, maybe at some point we can actually figure things out and get us back to square, not square one. We don't want to go back to the beginning, but we do want to figure out how we can make modern life work with how we're actually wired to be as animals in nature, and working with the earth instead of against it. So let's figure that out. I'm gonna continue this how to control your animal series until I feel that I've fully covered it. Mostly it's rambling, mostly it's me kind of verbalizing a lot of these things, because I type a lot of stuff out on notes and stuff, but sometimes a lot of these ideas don't even come out until I sit down and record. So that's what I do. I sit down with kind of an idea of what I want to say, but I don't like to write it all out. And the reason is because I feel like when I write something out and I say, okay, you're going to stick to this script, then I'm more focused on sticking to a script than I am in getting the information and idea out to anyone who's listening. And I feel like that's not good for anyone. So I like to kind of stick with the natural rambling and, natural things coming to me and coming out. I apologize if I sound a little rambly and incoherent at times, or if I bring up a subject and then, roundabout, and I'm supposed to come back to that and then I don't. Let me know. But hit that subscribe button. Like the video if you like it. If you don't worry about it. But I hope to see you guys soon on my next video, and yeah, thanks for watching. Stay happy, stay high. Peace.